World War II produced countless stories of heroism, but few with the uncanny parallels of this one. Two friends from the same small town both flew missions over Nazi-occupied Europe, and both went missing over the same target. The Navigator's Letter weaves together war, courage, love, and uncanny coincidence told by the daughter of one hero and the niece of the other. The book is called The Navigator's Letter, the true story of two World War II airmen, a doomed mission, and the woman who bound them together. Let's welcome author Jan Kress-Dondi. Jan, thanks for joining us today.
It's so nice to be here, and thank you for giving me some time to talk about John B. and Bob.
Yes, happy to do so. And Jan, this is an extraordinary piece of history. The story begins with letters, hundreds of them. So what prompted you to first think that your family story might be something bigger?
That's a great question. So I had this bunch of letters that I found in the basement, 500 or 600 letters. And as I was reading, as I was going through them, I realized this was a piece of history that was in my hands, and I needed to do something with it. Because of the coincidences that you mentioned, it was about my father and my uncle, my mother's brother. And as I read these stories, they just brought on some emotion. And I realized that the work that they were doing, it was just crazy stuff. They were the similarities of them. John B. and Bob both graduated from University of Illinois. One was a lawyer and one was headed to law school at the time they were each called. Both became B-24 navigators, and both flew their final mission over Ploesti, Romania, which was Hitler's primary fuel source. At the time, victory in World War II meant getting rid of one critical element, and that was oil. So they went after the Ploesti oil fields. That's the crew of my uncles. And the letters became an emotional heartbeat to the book. And they faced the most heavily defended fortress that Hitler made his oil fields protected, second to Berlin. So his group went through the toughest sector of Ploesti. They flew into a deadly gauntlet of anti-aircraft fire. It was chaos. There was black smoke, there was burning oil refineries, and the other three groups that had dropped back came in from the other side. So they were actually crossing each other. I know, unfortunately, he went missing in action on that day, but the Air Force and they lost 532 men on that day. There were 1,600 that went over the target, but they lost over 500 men, 54 planes. They considered it the costliest day in the Air Force history, and they called it Black Sunday. And months later, when the political system changed, they came up with a way to rescue 1,200 POWs. And the way they did it was they retrofitted bombers to carry 20 men at a time, and it was called Operation Reunion. The Tuskegee Airmen were flying cover over the entire time because they were worried about the Germans messing up this repatriation plan. It's the largest evacuation in history by air that they had tried. So the Tuskegee Airmen were protecting them, and the planes would land 6 at a time with propellers spinning, their engines going. 20 POWs would storm the plane, the second plane, the third plane, and then the 6 planes would fly off for 6-4 to land. So it ended up being a humanitarian mission. And that's sort of the gist of the story. I know I got a long breath in there.
I mean, well, that was so much for you to unpack. I mean, coming across all of these letters and everything that was told in them, what was it like, Jan, for you emotionally revisiting these memories and piecing together such a heavy chapter of your family's past?
It's so reading the letters was very emotional. I saw my father and my uncle as 18-year-olds. I only knew them as older people. And it's funny, generation after generation wants the same thing. They want love. They want, they just want to be cared for. These guys were writing letters every night, 5 pages long. I mean, we don't write, the art of writing letters is gone, but they would write 5-page letters back home. As I read them, I got emotional. even the third time I went through reading them, I was emotional. I think probably the culmination of my emotion was when I visited one of the airstrips in England. It was John B's airstrip, and at the end, standing at the end of that long concrete runway, it was a farmer's farm on a farmer's farm now, and I don't know if it was a culmination of the work or the culmination of everything, but I could just hear the thunder of those bombers taking off every 30 seconds. And it brought on a lot of emotion because I felt like I was standing on that airfield in history.
Yeah. Well, Jan, this is like we only get to hear a snippet about your story in the Navigator's Letter, but we're going to make sure our viewers know how they can get a hold of it. Jan, thanks so much for spending the time with us today and sharing a little bit about the story. We really appreciate it.
Well, thank you. You know, studying history reminds you of the past, so we don't make the mistakes. And this was my history. This was my past, and I think it's similar. Anybody reading it, I think, would see their grandfathers or their fathers in the same position, airmen just trying to do the right thing so that they could come home to their families.
Yeah, thank you again, Jan. And to our viewers, you can purchase your copy of The Navigator's Letter where books are sold.